Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back. Had the night off last night, but excuse me, hope you played along and listened to the fellas on the set last night. I'm pretty sure they had a really big night. I think Danny Cronin gave out 5 top pick winners and maybe even a pick 4 in the late pick 4 and the early pick 5. So pretty formful night last night. No carryovers to speak of. The pick 6 went out, the pick 5 went out, both pick 4s obviously. They even hit the super high 5 in the last race. So no carryovers. We're starting all over fresh tonight with this 8 race card here in just about 40 minutes. A little bit of snow in the area, temperature hovering around 33 degrees, should be the trend for the evening. However, the polycheck, of course, will remain fast. We kick things off here in race number 1 with a pick 5 every night, and it's a 6.5 maiden claimer for the 3-year-olds, 30 down to 20, couple of scratches. The 3 and 6 are out, numbers 3 and 6 are out, and that kind of affects it for me. Don't forget number 4. You'll see on the change number 4, Cha-Cha Express is a first-time gelding, will debut as a gelding. Now, so in race number 1, I'm going to go for number 7, Whiskey Chaser. I think this is a wide-open race, but I like Whiskey Chaser's chances in here, 8-1. That will not happen now with those 2 horses scratched. But Whiskey Chaser, son of Dan's, it comes from a good barn. Debuted at Churchill in the slop and was 8th beaten 12 lengths. Pretty good field, a good solid field, in fact, that day. A couple of those horses in that race came back and won, including the top 2 finishers that day. Then came here, made poly debut back in December 31st with Dela Cruz up, and was up and after the pace a little bit, kind of faded back, was 8th, beaten 16 lengths. Nobody was beaten High Holy that day. High Holy came back since then and win the non-2 in a runaway win, and in fact, we'll see him here next Friday. High Holy is in the Battaglia Stakes. Those entries came out today, so this one's been keeping good company, and just with those 2 scratches, I think it's a wide open race. It's between the 7 Whiskey Chaser and probably the 1 Hydrogen. Hydrogen racing for some good connections. Big ownership group there for trainer Jimmy Corrigan and Julie Burke rides. This one didn't fare so well at Los Al last time, going the mile distance, was 7th, beaten many lengths there. In fact, was eased through the lane. But time for that was in a restricted stake event and was the favorite, but got beat. But the first two starts of the horse's life at Del Mar earlier in 2019 in the summer was very good ones. Debuted was 3rd, beaten 2 lengths on a really good card, and then came back with 2nd. And I'm going to throw the stake event out. I'm going to throw the route race out. Turning back to the sprint distance, the horse has to figure here, taking all the early money as well. Now, number 2, 2 Dot, I'll go to that one for my 3rd choice, 7-2 on the morning line. Was 7th, beaten 14 lengths, out of the same race as my top pick. In fact, the top pick, this one outran my top pick, but drawn down towards the inside, I can't use the horse any better than 3rd, and the horse will get shuffled back with Alan Garcia towards the tail of the field, but will come running 2 Dot for trainer John Hancock, who's red hot at the meeting. 7-1-2 for me in the first race start of the pick 5. If you're going to spread, probably throw in the 8 Jerseys one. That's another one for Jimmy Chapman and Rolf Ulbrich. If that one wins, they will be rocking down in Jerseys in Newport. So race number 1, 7-1-2 start of the pick 5. Now, race number 2 starts at early pick 4, just 14% takeout in our pick 4s. And I believe last night the early pick 4 paid just shy of $900. The late pick 4 paid just about $1,445. So I think tonight it has a shot to the late one. I think maybe we'll pay more than the early one, but the early one we're going to take a stab later on in that. I think we have like a $24 ticket we're going to put out. But number 3, Per Cat, is my top pick in race number 2. 6-1 on the morning line odds. This one was 6, beaten 2 lengths, rallying from far back. Last start going the mile distance, same distance as today, and was really gobbled up the ground. Now today, I think the horse does get a pretty good possible pace scenario up front. I'm sure High Powered will go. Solo Drink is another one here I'm going to use, will come from the clouds. So the only other speed, I think, Gunny Roo, and then 70 Cat to the outside, I think will go. Stack 'em High won't be far off the pace. So I think there'll be a little bit of early lick. Per Cat shouldn't be as far back as last time, but will need some pace. That horse is 6-1, and I am going to spread in there. Another horse I like, I mentioned just a minute ago, number 4, High Powered. I think he will display speed for the Pocket Aces Racing, Albin Jimenez. This one is a 4-year-old son of Shanghai Bobby. Now, has raced here twice with 1 third-place finish, and then came back last start. I don't know what to make of that race, but they do drop the horse in for 75, so a little bit of hesitant to put this horse on top because of those reasons. reason, so I put him second. Now, number 5, Solo Drink. I like this horse a lot. I think the horse gets too far back, and the jockey I don't think is one to really get a horse in the race early, but he is a very smart rider and good judge of pace. So number 5, Solo Drink at 8-1 comes from a good barn for Ron Kales, and this one was rolling last time, coming out of the same race as my top pick, but just ran out of ground. So I think a better time to ride from Alan Garcia lands this one in the circle tonight. 8-1, good price in race number 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the third race starts the 20-cent single six jackpot, no carryover. That went out once again last night. In fact, it was hit on Thursday for a tune of $28,100. And last night, I think it was somewhere around $3,600. So these have been getting sizable pools here, and you can spread out for not much money, not much in your budget with this 20-cent base bet. And I don't think you have to go very deep if you're playing the single six in the first couple of legs. In fact, the first leg, I'm just going to use 3 horses, and it's the top 3 you see on your screen right now. Number 6, Florida Flash, gets a change of jockey to the leading rider here for trainer Dale Romans. This one was 7th, beaten 6 lengths at the mile distance, and turns back to a distance I think is more suitable for this horse at the 6 furlong distance. If this one can run that race it ran before at Churchill for the 15 level, where it's 4th, beaten 6 lengths, those numbers stack up better than anything in here. So for that reason, I'm going to put that one on top in the third race. Now, number 3, Combating, is one I think will also benefit from the turnback. This horse debuted at a mile here for the maiden 30 level and was up and after the pace and just kind of shut down, and did have a little bit of excuse, was bothered at the start and kind of rushed up at the mile distance and spit the bit late, but turns back to the 6 furlongs and jams in for the 75. Best top is the drop. Combating 5-1 on the morning line, my second choice. Now you can make a case for number 5, Chicago Roll. This one is making the biggest drop you can in horse racing. Maiden special to the maiden claimers. And this one debuted in the mud, was 7th, beat 22 lengths. Took a little bit of money that day and came back, added Lasix in his second start, caught another off track, and showed speed, was a little closer. Ended up 5th, beating 12 lengths to a decent field, and it now comes back here for Michael Evans III on a big drop, $7,500 dollar level here. Sonny Leone gets the call, and this one is 6-1, and that shows a couple of decent works on the work tab, prior to debuting. So you can see that why the horse took action there at just about 12-13-1 there on debut. So Chicago Roll, I think is worth throwing in there, 6-1 price play in race number 3, 6-3-5 for me. Race number 4 does start another rolling pick 3. It's a filly and mare 3 since a date or non-4 claimant event to go a mile. And there is a scratch in here in race number 4. Part of the entry, Meddy Bemps, is out. Meddy Bemps, she is out. I believe she's re-entered for Friday, but on the AE. Now, in the 4th race going a mile, I was trying to beat the favorite. I really wanted to try to use somebody on top of the 3, Kickin' Kimberly, but the only horse I think can probably beat her is drawn to the rail, and that is Fashion Envy down towards the inside. And I don't like the rider change. Angel Serpent, I think, knows this horse very well, and I don't like that he's not back on it. So that gave me a little bit of scare there, so I just couldn't make to why he wasn't back on the horse. So I'm going to use her second. Number 3, Kickin' Kimberly, even money on the morning line, and was a runaway winner on Polytrack debut, coming in from Maryland. Last start for Michael Dubb and Mike Caruso, also Mike Imperial and David Simon, Mike Maker, the trainer. Gerardo Corrales riding very well at the meeting, has the call. Runaway winner, rallied from off the pace, won by 4 3/4 lengths, well in hand, and was clear off and running away at the end. Comes in for the nickel non-4 here today, and you have to use her, and she figures. I wasn't going to single her, though, because that race that she won wasn't a real strong field, and so I wanted to add a couple of other horses in here maybe. Number 2, Fashion Envy. She rallied from off the pace, was 4th, beaten 6 lengths last start, so a really good field for the 8-ball. Time before for the 12,500 level, was 5th, beaten 4 lengths. This is the lowest level of the horse's career until you go all the way back to November 18th at Churchill, when they ran for that non-2-8 when it was claimed out of that race. But this one's been keeping good company. Never went on the poly, but 2-time winner at the distance. Class drop's the key here for me, Fashion Envy. from the barn of Marianne Manning is my second choice. Now, third, number 6, My Aunt Tilly. Bob Bone, Contreras, and Joe Ramos teamed up a couple of times here at the meeting, once with this mare when she made her second poly-track start. Rallied from far back. She was 7th early and ended up first at the wire as the favorite. That was the second poly-track start. So been in Tippy's barn for a little bit of time here since coming in about the first week of December. His barn's on fire here at the meet. He's winning at just about 42%, I think, last time I looked. So she's a horse that you have to use if your budget allows us. I don't think she can beat my top 2, but you never know. The pace could collapse here if we're kicking Kimberly. But I'm going to go 3-2-6 in race number 4. Or halfway through the card, we're going to take a little break here, come back with the changes in the back half of the program. And ladies and gentlemen, at this time, though, I ask that you please rise, kindly remove your caps as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into Turfway Park. The windows are open. 8 races on this Saturday card from Florence, y'all. And if you'll take out your programs, I'll give you tonight's late program changes. First race starts with pick 5, 15% takeout. Couple of changes in the opener. Number 3, Rito Prado has been scratched. Number 3, Rito Prado is out. Please be aware that number 4, Cha Cha Express, will debut as a gelding and scratch the morning line favorite number 6, No Nay Always. No Nay Always has been scratched from the opener. Race number 2 started that early pick 4. Take out the 8 and 9. Scratch number 8, Colombiano. Scratch number 9, Pioneer Dancer. In the third race, please be aware that number 5, Chicago Roll, will debut for the first, will race for the first time as a gelding. Number 5, Chicago Roll, is a gelding. Scratch number 13, Sanderlin, and scratch the 14, Feel the Thunder. Third race started that single 6, simply scratch the also eligibles. No carryover in the single 6, though. In the fourth race, scratch part of the entry, number 1, Medi Bemps. Fourth race, part of the entry, number 1, Medi Bemps, has been scratched. Fifth race starts our late pick 4. Please be aware in race 5, number 10, Atheri, as a change of jockey to Rogelio Miranda. Rogelio Miranda, the jockey on the 10. Scratch number 13, Bird Key. Number 13, Bird Key, has been scratched. In the 6th race, we celebrate Larry Allen's 60th. In the 6th race, number 3, Kitten for Granny. The apprentice is 5 pounds over. So, correct, the weight on the 3, Kitten for Granny, will be 121 there in the 6th. 7th race starts a late daily double. There are a trio of scratches. Take out the 1, Ammunition. Scratch number 2, a Tuck. Scratch number 8, Flat Stir. 7th race, 1, 2, and 8 stayed home. 8th and final, take out the bottom 3 horses. Scratch number 12, Fire Command. Scratch number 13, Marie's Mandate. And scratch number 14, Boomerang Baby. 12, 13, and 14 withdrawn from the 8th. Those are the changes at this time. Any additional changes coming in throughout the balance of the card, I'll get those to you as they do so. Hello once again, ladies and gentlemen, as we take a look to the back half of this Saturday 8-race card. We'll start at race 5. That's a race everything goes through, the early pick 4, early pick 5, and our late pick 4 here in the 5th. Maiden special weight for the girls, purse $46,000 a go a mile. Good quality field here. I'm going to narrow it down to just about 4 horses in the pick 4s. Of those 4, my top pick is the 8, is still 6-5 on Mike's Morning Line. Racing for the Stone Farm of Arthur Hancock III, and Tommy Drury sends this one out. Tommy Drury actually has my top 2 choices in here entered in this race. This one's a daughter of Bernardini. She's out of a Harlan mare named Owlsy, and she's been second in each of her 2 tries over the polytrack. Beaten favorite last start, and now they switch jockeys to Alban Jimenez tonight. Still's got a big chance. Her stablemate has a big chance as well. Number 12, Madam Pie, daughter of Data Link out of an Alley Deed mare. Now this one raced for the first time on the polytrack last start, and that was back on December 20th, going the mile distance. She stretched out for the first time, and I think she got a little farther back than anticipated. She ended up trailing the field and ran on, ended up being third, beaten 4 lengths. She was right in behind her stablemate there. So I think Drury has a big chance to go 1-2 again here in race number 5. After that, I ended up going for number 3, Loon Roos, for Scooter Hughes. And this one, she tries every time. In fact, she's raced here at Turfway 6 times, been on the ticket 5 of them. She has 5 third-place finishes right here over the track. So she likes the surface. She just seems to have a lot of time in between races. Her races are very well spaced out, as she's only made 8 starts in her career. But she's a check getter, of course, and I think she has a shot to be on the ticket. Other than that, if you're playing the pick 4s, I guess you could probably make a case for number 8, Just a Look. Gets Rafael Hernandez up tonight. This one comes from the barn of Ben Colebrook. She's a daughter at Looking at Lucky, and I think she's another one that will be rolling, towards the end. But I don't think she'll be as far off the pace this time as last time, as she's been racing at a sprint distance, and she stretches out to the mile. I don't expect her on the lead, but I think she'll be close, and I think she's, one of those that has a real high cruising speed, and she can carry that a long time. And when it's time to run, this daughter Looking at Lucky, she's very game, and I think she has a big chance in here at 8-1 to be on the ticket. So race 5, we're going to use those. We're going to use the 9, 12, and 3 as my top 3 and throw in the 8 in the pick 4. We'll talk about that later. As we move on to race number 6, starts the final rolling pick 3, and that's Larry Allen's race. And in the 6th race, I was in between a couple of horses trying to figure out who I was going to use on top. Ultimately, I think you only have to use these 3 to get by in your pick 3s and 4s and pick 6. But number 8, Let's Ride. I love this horse at 6-1. Raced off the layoff. Hadn't raced since June over at Riverdale or Belterra, excuse me. And they came here on January 24th and rallied from off the pace. Ended up being third, beaten 4 lengths. Gets Gerardo Corrales tonight, so gets a good jockey tonight. second start off the layoff, and well drawn in here, well drawn into the outside here. And Let's Ride 6-1 on the morning line. For second, number 1, Direct Lane. I probably would have picked him on top if he hadn't drawn the fence going 6 furlongs. But 5-2, you got to use the horse. He was a winner last start. Now, that was a 62.50, but that race was written for horses who have not won a race on the poly track in the last 12 months. The claiming tag was 62.50, so it was a lot easier than a normal 62.50, with that conditional tag on there. But time before in that 2 of the year was third, beating 7 lengths. So I think the horse figures. I don't think he can win out of the 1 hole, but I think he'll be on the ticket. And then for third, number 6, Montezuma Express. I like this horse a lot for Hannah Schlink and Jeff Whitaker. He is a 10-year-old, never won here at Turfway out of the 2 starts, but he has 11 wins. He is, I believe, 40 for 77 in the money, made over $200,000. He's going to be a pace presence. And when I look at this race, there's only a couple horses in here that I think figure to go to the front. Direct Lane's going to have to be hard hustled from the inside. He won't make the lead. I think Montezuma Express can, and Money Me Too from that outside will make the lead. So I think he'll make the lead. Then comes a 6, the one to take out of there, and those horses go on with it. And it's going to set up for a stalker. And with Let's Ride to that outside draw, he's in a perfect spot. So that's why I put him on top at 6-1. Pretty value play there, 8-1-6, race number 6 for me. In the 7th race, it's a non-2 allowance, purse $46,500 to go 6.5 furlongs. And we do have a couple of changes in there. Numbers 1, 2, and 8. Numbers 1, 2, and 8 are all scratched from the 7th. I'm going to single in this race. I think it's a free space. I think Riverboat Gambler is an absolute swish. Tommy Drury looks to have a big night here. This one came here last start on January 3rd, off a brief layoff on Polytrack debut. And was up and after. The pace was third, a length and a half off, then closed in a little bit, got up into second, but just ran into a buzzsaw. There's a horse named Town B who won that day, and Town B's a monster horse. It won a couple in a row here for trainer Ethan West for Chuck Fipke. That horse has since, off of those 2 performances, he runs such big numbers, he's been transferred to the barn of Todd Pletcher now. So Riverboat Gambler, been facing good company, better than anything in here. I think he's a home run there in race 7. I'm going to single the 7 and move on. But in behind that, I'll go for the 5 going for gold. I think he's best of the rest. And then number 4, Busy Ride. This one was a runaway winner last start, albeit a maiden $30,000 claiming tag, but did it well enough, and the time before did run in behind the horse I just spoke about, Town B, except that was when Town B broke his maiden, and he done so by almost 12 lengths. So this one keeping good company as well. I think he's the 3rd best. After that, it's Boom 5,000. I'm going to go 7-5 for it. If you're playing a super, I guess the 3 would be the next logical horse. 8th and final, we'll spread out here a little bit. In the 8th race, it's a filly and mare non-2 5-claimer, 6 furlongs. High fives offered, no carryover though. That will refresh as it was hit last night. My top pick in here is another one that's a price play, number 11, the Ash Factor. Debuted at Churchill for the 15 level, was 9th, beating 13 lengths to a really good field, but had an awkward beginning. I think once that horse had that awkward start, it was just kind of a learning experience after that. She was in behind horses, learning to take some of that kickback in her face there at Churchill and learned to run on. And she had a pretty good gallop out when you watch the replay, but came back here on December 26th on poly debut and rallied from far back. Once again, had a compromised start, except this time she got up and won. She had slow to begin and just ran away, started to run away from the field. She got up by 3/4 of the length, but she done it in style, win going away, had a nice strong gallop out. They thought enough of that effort. They brought her back for the 15 non-2. She didn't fare so well though, but one thing I did like, she broke a lot better. So she's improving with each start. Now, she got beat 11 lengths. That was a way tougher race than this one today for the 5-ball. And the Ash Factor at 6-1. That one is definitely my top pick. For second, number 3, Mozzarella. Comes from the barn on Mike Maker, was the beaten favorite last start. I'm just going to draw a line through it and just give her a free go there on Polytrack debut. Sometimes them horses coming off other surfaces and running over that, they right away don't tend to relish it. But once they get over it, they get to training over it and get used to it, they'll move forward in that second Polytrack try. And Mike Maker sends this one out for his owner, Mike Caruso, and Mike Dubb. Now Gerardo Corrales has the call. I think she'll be a little bit closer to pace today. She won't be all the way as far back. So 7-2, I'm going to use her. Then for third, number 9, Princess Kaya, 10-1 for Barkley. And she's been a beaten favorite the last 2 starts, but she's better than that. And I just thought at 10-1, I wanted to have some value on my ticket there in the nightcap. So 8th and final, I'm going to go 11, 3, and 9. Well, that's the way I see it for this Saturday card. I hope you play along and hope you have a wonderful evening. Best of luck. Race 1 kicks off the pick 5 in 15 minutes. Have a great night.